Here are few decisions more consequential than whether to stay or leave a relationship. It's not just about love, it's about safety, dignity, values, the life you want to live, and the person you're becoming alongside someone else. What makes the decision so hard is that relationships are complex systems. They ebb and flow, stressors come and go, and most partnerships contain both profound tenderness and real pain. Knowing when difficulties are fixable versus when you're crossing the line into self-betrayal is the art. This video offers a clear framework for discerning when to leave, grounded in patterns to watch for, questions to ask yourself, and practical steps to take, especially if safety is a concern. It's not a universal algorithm. No article can know your entire history, but you can use it to sort your thoughts, test your assumptions, and reach a decision you can stand behind. First principle: separate a rough patch from a deal breaker. Every relationship hits rough patches: new parenthood, illness, job loss, relocation, grief. During those seasons, goodwill can run low, resentments can flare, and your partner may seem like their worst self. A rough patch is painful but bounded. Both people remain willing to own their part, show up, and repair. A deal breaker, by contrast, is about patterns and principles, repeated harms that don't change despite feedback, core values that clash, or safety being compromised. A useful test is the 3 R's: rupture, response, and repair. Rupture happens in every relationship. What matters is your partner's response and whether genuine repair follows. If the response is defensiveness, minimization, or temporary love bombing with no durable change, you're not in a rough patch, you're in a loop. If repair requires you to become smaller, quieter, or to abandon your self-respect, it isn't repair at all. Non-negotiables: leave sooner, not later. Some situations call for decisiveness. If any of the following are present, the question is less, should I leave? And more, how can I leave as safely as possible? Abuse of any kind: physical violence, threats, sexual coercion, stalking, intimidation, or any behavior that makes you fear for your safety are bright red lines. Emotional and psychological abuse, constant belittling, isolation from friends and family, gaslighting, monitoring your phone or finances, unpredictable rage, destroying property, are also abuse. Abuse cycles often include apologies and honeymoon phases, but without specialized intervention, the pattern repeats and generally escalates. Coercive control: even without explicit violence, a partner who micromanages your movement, money, friendships, clothing, or decisions is exerting control. Love requires voluntary closeness. Control is incompatible with respect. Ongoing addiction without commitment to treatment. Substance use disorders are medical realities, but if your partner refuses help and their use compromises your safety, stability, or finances, you are not obligated to stay and love them into wellness. Your boundary can be compassionate and firm. Treatment and sustained sobriety are prerequisites for partnership. Chronic infidelity or deception: a single breach can be repaired with sincere effort, transparency, and time, but repeated betrayals, secret lives, or an ongoing pattern of lying, even about small things, erodes the basic foundation of trust. If truth cannot be relied upon, intimacy cannot survive. Criminal activity that endangers you or your dependents: if their choices risk your housing, employment, immigration status, or your children's well-being, your responsibility is to those whose safety depends on you. In any of these scenarios, prioritize a safety plan. Confide in trusted people offline. Gather important documents. Consider legal advice. And contact local support services or emergency services if you are in immediate danger. Secrecy can be a lifeline in controlling relationships. Move cautiously and document incidents when safe to do so. Slow burn signs: the relationship is eroding you, Not every reason to leave announces itself dramatically. Many relationships die by erosion, death by 1,000 minimizations, and unmet needs. Here are slow-burn indicators that you may be out of alignment with yourself or with this partnership. You can't be yourself without consequences. If you feel you're performing a role to keep the peace, masking your opinions, interests, or friendships because honesty earns you coldness or punishment, you're trading authenticity for belonging. Healthy love makes you more you, not less. Your nervous system never rests. You find yourself hypervigilant before they get home, rehearsing conversations, scanning for signs of anger or withdrawal. Your body keeps the score. If your baseline is anxiety or dread more often than calm and warmth, pay attention. Respect has left the building. Eye-rolling contempt, public put-downs, or private cruelty are corrosive. Disagreement can coexist with respect. Contempt cannot. No shared future story. When you imagine the next 5 years, your visions don't overlap. Children, where to live, money, religion, caregiving for parents, career ambition, lifestyle. You've had the conversations, tried compromise, and still feel that someone must betray their values for the other to be happy. Chronic stonewalling or avoidance, hard conversations die on the vine. You leave issues unresolved for months. When you do raise them, the response is, "I can't do this," with no committed return to the topic. Avoidance is a decision to let problems metastasize. Intimacy is persistently absent and unaddressed. Sex isn't a quota, but it is a kind of glue for many couples. Mismatched desire is workable if it's a shared project, not a wedge. If touch has become transactional, pressured, or scantily offered, and you cannot speak about it without shame or shutdown, the disconnection will spread. The ledger never clears. You both keep score, resurrecting past grievances to win current arguments. Apologies don't land. Gratitude is scarce, and generosity feels dangerous because it won't be reciprocated. Love starts to feel like a negotiation with poor terms. You've tried sincerely, and you're the only one in motion. Maybe you've communicated clearly, set boundaries, attended counseling, read books, adjusted your contributions, and even changed your own patterns. If your partner acknowledges the issues just enough to reset the clock but doesn't follow through with consistent, observable change, effort becomes self-abandonment. Your core needs are incompatible. You need closeness, responsiveness, and frequent connection. They need vast autonomy and offer minimal responsiveness, or vice versa, and neither of you wants to or can sustainably meet in the middle. Attachment styles can be integrated with effort, but not if the underlying needs are disdained or pathologized. You don't like who you are in this relationship. Perhaps you've grown more critical, petty, withdrawn, or volatile. Relationships are mirrors. If what's reflected back is someone you don't respect and your attempts to shift the dynamic haven't stuck, leaving may be the kindest path for both of you. Big decisions benefit from structure. Use these lenses to bring your intuition and your analysis into conversation. The pattern test. Isolate behaviors, not promises. List the last 10 change moments you've had. Apologies made, agreements set, next steps identified. Next to each, mark what changed in the following 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. People are what they repeatedly do. If the pattern is relapse without recommitment, you have your answer. Identify your top 5 values and how they show up daily. Do this privately first. For example, loyalty, growth, family, stability, freedom, faith, adventure. Then ask, does this relationship help me practice these values more often, less often, or only with contortions? Values in conflict can be respected, but they cannot be wished away. The 70-20-10 rule of realism. More roughly, long-term relationships have 70% steady enough, 20% workable differences, and 10% enduring mismatches you accept because the whole is worth it. If your day-to-day rests below steady enough, and the 20% has become 60% of your lived experience, You're not broken. You're undernourished. The future, you check in. Picture your life 3 years from now with nothing changing in the relationship dynamic. Scan your body. Relief or constriction. Now picture having left and rebuilt. Anxiety is normal either way. Look for where your energy feels cleaner, where your self-respect is intact. The children lens, if applicable. Kids don't need perfect parents or a conflict-free home. They need safety, predictability, and models of respectful repair. Staying for the kids while living in chronic hostility or Cold War teaches them that love equals tension or silence. Leaving respectfully may serve them better than staying miserably. Conversely, if the relationship is mostly healthy and the stress is situational, family therapy may repair the climate. Think about what you want them to learn about love from watching you. The sunk cost audit. Time invested is not a reason to continue investing. Sunk costs, years together, shared traditions, intertwined social circles, have emotional weight, but they are not predictors of future return. Ask, if I met this person today with what I know now, would I choose this relationship? The third way probe. Before choosing between staying and leaving, explore a third option, staying differently. This might mean a trial separation with rules, a finite window, 90 days, of intensive couples work with measurable behaviors, or redefining the relationship structure. If staying differently still produces the same pattern after an honest trial, you can leave knowing you exhausted reasonable alternatives. Clarifying conversations with yourself and your partner. Honesty, first within, then with each other, reduces regret. Start by naming your needs, boundaries, and non-negotiables on paper. Be concrete. I need consistent follow-through on agreed budgets. I need tenderness in conflict. I need to be free to see friends without interrogation. I will not tolerate name-calling. Then have the conversation without hedging, blaming, or hinting. Use simple language. Here is what I need. Here is what I will do to support it. Here is what will happen if we can't do this. Expect defensiveness, it's human. What matters is what happens after the initial reaction. Do they get curious, ask questions, and propose changes? Or do they deflect, minimize, or attack? If they agree, ask for specificity and timelines. I'll try harder is not a plan. I will schedule a therapy intake this week, share the time with you, and we'll have a weekly money meeting starting Sunday, is a plan. If you are the one being asked for change and realize you cannot or do not want to meet the need, say so kindly but clearly. Better an honest ending than a long, resentful fizzle. Special contexts: money, sex, family, and culture. Money misalignment often masquerades as personality differences. In truth, money expresses values: security, freedom, generosity, status. If your fights recycle the same accusations, you're controlling versus you're irresponsible, you're likely arguing value meanings, not spreadsheets. Shared systems, transparent budgets, agreed thresholds for big purchases, separate discretionary accounts, can heal a lot. If transparency is refused or financial infidelity persists, the relationship's trust spine is compromised. Sexual disconnection is both a symptom and a cause. Desire mismatches are common and workable with curiosity, scheduling, medical checks, and expanding your erotic script. If sex is pressured, used as punishment, or if one person's boundaries are repeatedly ignored, the damage spreads. If one partner refuses to discuss sex with respect or to seek help when there's pain or dysfunction, leaving may be necessary for your well-being. Family and culture can both sustain and strain a couple. Over-involvement from extended family, incompatible religious commitments, or cultural norms about gender roles can create deal-breakers. If your partner prioritizes external loyalties over your agreed boundaries and will not renegotiate, the partnership lacks a protected we. What therapy can and cannot do. Couples therapy can be transformative when two willing participants show up. It offers a structured space to pattern break, practice new skills, and process hurts with a third party. It cannot make someone honest, kind, or willing. It cannot cure abuse. In fact, couples therapy is contraindicated in active abuse because it can endanger the victim. Individual therapy can help you track your own attachment patterns, trauma responses, and decision paralysis. Therapy won't choose for you, but it can help you choose with eyes open. Preparing to leave. Safety, logistics, heart. If you decide to go, how you leave affects how you heal. Preparation isn't betrayal, it's care. Safety first. If there's any risk of retaliation, plan discreetly. Confide in a small circle you trust in real life. Store essential documents in a safe place. ID, passports, financial records, birth certificates. Consider consulting legal resources about leases, mortgages, custody, and protective orders. If danger is acute, contact local crisis services or emergency services. Your safety eclipses etiquette, financial readiness, inventory shared assets and debts. Open an individual bank account if you don't have one. Update passwords and secure two-factor authentication for your own accounts. If feasible, build a small emergency fund. Transparency is ideal. In abusive contexts, prioritize safety over disclosure. Housing and logistics. Where will you go? With whom? For how long? Identify a short-term landing place and a longer-term plan. Consider pet custody, mail forwarding, and utility changes. If kids are involved, aim for predictable routines, neutral exchanges, and professional guidance on co-parenting plans. The conversation. When it's safe, be clear and kind. Avoid relitigating the entire relationship. Endings are not trials to be won. Use I statements. I am ending this relationship. I'm grateful for X. This isn't a decision made in anger, but in clarity. Here are the logistics for the next steps. Expect big feelings. You can be compassionate without reversing your boundary. Aftercare. Ending a relationship, even a painful one, creates a void. Ambivalence, grief, nostalgia, and second-guessing are normal. Build a support plan. B. Friends who know the whole story. Appointments on the calendar, therapy, legal, financial, routines that anchor you, and practices that restore your body, sleep, nutrition, movement. Remove or mute digital reminders for a while. Grief isn't a sign you made the wrong choice. It's a sign you're human. Common myths that keep people stuck. All relationships are hard, so this is just how it is. Hard isn't the same as harmful. Growth pain strengthens, dignity pain shrinks. Know the difference. If I leave, I'm a failure. Staying at any cost isn't success. Leaving thoughtfully can be an act of profound responsibility to yourself, to any children, and even to the other person who deserves a partner who genuinely wants to be there. I'll never find someone else. Scarcity thinking is loud when you're depleted. Don't make lifelong predictions from a narrow emotional state. Focus on becoming someone you're proud to be. The rest tends to follow. Time invested means I should keep trying. Past investment doesn't oblige future investment. The relevant question is whether current effort is producing healthy change, not whether you've already spent years trying. They'll change if I love them enough. Love isn't a behavior modification program. People change when they decide to, when they feel the consequences of their behavior, and when they have support structures, not when someone else carries their accountability. Leaving will ruin the kids. Chronic conflict, contempt, or coldness is more damaging than a respectful separation. Kids need safety, predictable care, and caregivers who model self-respect and kind boundaries. A short self-inventory. If you're on the fence, try a simple daily practice for 2 weeks. Each night, jot down answers to 3 questions. First, today, did I feel fundamentally safe and respected? Second, Today, did I and my partner make at least one micro repair, a kind check-in, an apology, a small act of care? Third, if tomorrow were the same as today, would I be okay with that? Patterns will emerge. If the answers tilt consistently toward no and nothing changes despite earnest attempts, you're not indecisive, you're receiving information. You can also write 2 letters you won't send, one to your partner as if you're staying. What would you need day to day to feel good about this choice? Be specific and realistic. The second letter, as if you're leaving. What will be hardest, and how will you support yourself through it? If the stay letter requires your partner to become a different person, or for you to abandon your essential needs, you're expecting magic, not change. If the leave letter produces fear but also relief, respect that signal. If you decide to stay, for now, it can be empowering to choose a time-bound commitment to staying differently. Define a focused window, say 8 to 12 weeks, during which you both engage in clear behaviors. Scheduled conversations, therapy appointments, agreed boundaries, accountability check-ins. Track progress visibly. If change is real, you'll feel different. Not perfect, but more hope than dread, more repair than rupture, more consistency than crisis. If the window closes with little movement, let the trial itself answer the question. Loving someone doesn't require loving this dynamic. If you decide to leave for good, expect your brain to offer highlight reels of the best moments and horror reels of the worst. Both are true and neither should drive the car. Hold steady to your reasons, which you've already articulated. If you waver, read your own words back to yourself. Resist mutual rewriting of history to make the separation easier. Let it be sad and honest. Release each other without villainizing what was once precious. If you're leaving for safety, stay focused on logistics and protection. Healing begins after you're out. In the months that follow, reclaim pieces of self that were on pause. Reinvest in friendships that atrophied. Build routines that reflect your values without negotiation. When you're ready, reflect gently on your part, not to blame yourself for being hurt, but to understand your patterns, your boundaries, and your blind spots. This is how you ensure the pain becomes wisdom rather than baggage. A final word. You are allowed to want a relationship where safety, respect, affection, honesty, and shared vision aren't exceptional events but the normal weather. You are allowed to leave when those conditions cannot be created, even if no one else understands, even if there were beautiful chapters, even if leaving breaks your heart. You are also allowed to stay and fight for a love that still has real roots. If the fight is mutual and the growth is tangible, there is no perfect time to leave. There is only the clarity that comes from listening to your body, honoring your values, checking the pattern rather than the promise, and telling the truth, first to yourself, then to your partner, then to your life. When you move from that place, whatever you choose will be the right choice, because it will be the one that aligns your actions with your deepest respect for yourself and for love. Please leave your thoughts about this video in the comment section. Give us a like and subscribe to this channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.